את העשרה אנחנו לך העולם אשר קדישנו מצוותיו וציוונו להיטטיב לציצית. Hello. How are you doing? Huda benite. Huda binte. How are you? It's nice to see you. You're gorgeous too, Poinando. Good morning, Sarah. How are you? What are you up to today? You don't love me. You're mistaken. It's really nice to see you. So we will start today with the Shema and the Vahafta, the prayer that says, "Pray me." And then we will read about the descent of Inanna and her courtship with her lover. And then we'll say Arati, and then we'll say Kadish, and then we will say farewell. I'm glad to catch your face today. Shabbat Shalom. How has your week been? You're working on finishing a mini ice cream parlor and also designing a hallway for the church. You're always up to such interesting things. I am going to call a number of clinics about facial feminization surgery and have some tedious conversations about insurance. And I'm going to write a paper about my pedagogic techniques and why they are great. It's going to be very boring. And I'm going to cook Shabbat dinner for my family. I have gotten a COVID booster. It hurt my arm. The church down the street wants to turn their nursery into an underwater-themed magic world. Oh God, not papers? Yes, I that's all I do these days. I work on papers and insurance. I engage with large institutions and tell them to treat me better. That's what I do. Yes, I have to look up CPT codes for every surgical procedure that I'm interested in and inform my insurance company of those CPT codes so that they can then identify a surgeon in their network that offers those surgeries. But that's actually all a lie. That's all bullshit. That's just what I was told, but it's not actually true. The CPT codes are completely unnecessary. It's a mess. It's a big mess. But the world is complicated. I'm getting a PhD in biology, Sarah. And what I've been specializing in, for better or for worse, is science pedagogy, right? So I teach mushrooms in the forest, and it's very innovative to teach people about mushrooms in the place where the mushrooms grow instead of in a classroom. Gosh. It's not innovative at all, but I have to write about it as if it is. So that's what I've been doing. I've been transcribing interviews with my students and talking about how they learn. Yes, I mean, it is mycology. I wrote a number of mycology papers, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to be a researching mycologist, but I will be an educator. So I have to talk about the way that I teach. Pink eye in both eyes. I'm sorry, Miss Priss. I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope that you get better, and I hope that this time that we get to spend together this morning will help. Trollmaster, you give yourself away with your name. I do hope to be a practicing rabbi one day, or something similar. Good morning, Dutat. Long time no see. I am well. Reasonably. The pink-eyed monster sneezed on you. Not a monster, just another human. Another human who is also sick. How are you doing, Dudat? It's really nice to see you again. Should we say some prayers? Yeah. So, the word Shema in Hebrew means listen. Listen. Shema Yisrael Asher Eloheinu Yahweh Echad. Vahafta et Anat Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'odeicha v'chayu advarim ha'il asher nohim mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'vitecha v'lechtecha havadech uv'shachbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam le'ohot al yadecha v'chayu letotafot b'neinecha uchtavtaham al mizuzot beitecha uv'hisharecha v'chaya כי ויחיה אלוהיך אל הארץ אשר נשבע לאבותיך לאברהם ליצחק וליעקב לתת לך ערים גדולות וטובות אשר לא בנית ובתים מלאים כל טובה אשר לא מילאת וברות עצובים אשר לא זעת וכרמים וזיתים אשר לא נתת והלכת ושבת הישמר לך פן תשכח את יהוה אשר תשכחה מארץ מצרים מבית עבדים. What language? Hebrew is the language. And the words say, copy me. The words say, repeat me. And so I repeat them. You shall bind me as a symbol on your hand, and let them serve as a sign on your foreheads, and inscribe them on the doorposts of your houses and on your gates. Repeat these words. Put them places, like a chain letter, like a meme. Say them over and over and over. And maybe one day you will understand, or you will experience in your body, this truth, that all is one. Good morning, Batya. How are you? How are you doing? How are things in Israel today? So, I'm a very good cat. She's over here. You can't quite see her, but she's very good. What are they doing in Israel? Pretty cold. Yeah, I bet. Do you ever get snow in the region of the country you're in? I remember I was in Bethlehem in 2018, the winter of 2018 into 2019, around this time of year. And there was one day where we got snow. That was very special. But Bethlehem is, well, I suppose you're north of that, so you might get snow sometimes. So, we were reading from the Descent of Ishtar. Yes. They're on birthright right now. Yes, they have a right by birth to visit a place that some people who were born in that place do not have a right to visit. Isn't that interesting? So we were reading from the Descent of Ishtar, story about how Inanna wants to get married. And in what we were reading yesterday, it seems like she's got got the hots for her brother Utu. Utu's like, no, you shouldn't marry me. You should marry the shepherd. And she's like, but I don't like the shepherd. He smells like dirty animals. I want flaxseed sheets. But Utu's like, no, you really should. You should marry the shepherd. Why don't you listen to what Dumuzi has to say? Then Dumuzi, the shepherd, spoke to Inanna. There's no reason for you to praise the farmer. Why do you insist upon speaking about him? For if he provides black flour, I will provide black wool. If he provides you white flour, I will white wool. If he provides you beer, I will give you sweet milk. If he provides you bread, I'll give you honey cheese. If the farmer only receives my surplus of cream, the farmer only receives my surplus of milk. So why do you go on talking about the farmer? Are his possessions more abundant than mine? The tension between the farming peoples and the shepherd peoples. Some serious tension, some Cain and Abel shit right here. Inanna, Queen of Heaven, spoke to Dumuzi. Shepherd, but for Ningal, you would be gone. But for Ningikuga, you would live in the hills. If not for Nana, you'd have no roof over you. If it were not for my brother Utu, the secret twin, this is the descent of Inanna. But she has not yet descended. Before she can descend, first she has to, have sex with her new boyfriend. Vividly. This is ancient pornography, but we'll get to that. We're not quite there yet. Then Dumuzi, the shepherd, interrupted her. Inanna, do not think to provoke a squabble, for my father Enki is as noble as your father, and my mother Situr is as noble as your mother, and my sister Geshtinana is as noble as yours. So rather, Queen of the Citadel, we should talk. Rather, Inanna, we ought to meet and converse. I am as noble as Utu, so too Enki is as Nana. So rather, Queen of the Citadel, we should talk. The words they spoke were filled with longing. Their clash, from the first, had spurred on love. Friends to lovers, enemies to lovers, that old story. So the shepherd came to the palace with cream. Cream, eh? Yes, white cream. Dumuzi came to the citadel carrying sweet milk. When standing before the door, he called to her, Open up your house, my dear, open the door. Inanna ran to her mother, Ningal, who bore her. Ningal gave advice to her daughter and said, My child, the young man will be like a father. Daughter, to you he will also be like a mother. Some interesting. I want someone to be my father and my mother simultaneously, and also my sexual partner. That's some Freudian nonsense right there. You will find him treating you as if your father, and find him caring for you as if your mother. Open up your house, my dear. Open the door. So Inanna went, just as her mother directed her. She washed herself, anointed herself with oil, draped her body in the finest white robes, set forth her dowry, lay beads about her neck, taking up the royal emblem in her deft hand, while Dumuzi waited for her arrival impatiently before Inanna opened wide the door for him. And within the house she was readily beaming, holding the bewitching aura of the full moon. Dumuzi was overcome with delight as he gazed, then moving closer to her, he kissed her. And, we'll have to pause there. But, tomorrow, we will, read the spicy section. The spicy section, of the Descent of Inanna. I'll give you a teaser because it's so good. His hands did fondle my blessed genitals. With cream, he plied my dark boat evenly. With milk, he made my slender craft speedy. He touched me with the softness upon the bed. So, yes. I love that, these ancient stories are so explicit in their sexual content. I think it's great. I think it's important. Where else are you going to learn sex ed in ancient Sumer, except with your mythology, huh? So. We will resume again on Monday. But for now it's time for Arati. It is so passionate, isn't it? Yeah, they didn't have the same kind of social customs we had about not talking about sex. So they built it into their understanding of the sacred. And I don't really think about that kind of stuff, kind of deliberately. Does not implicate me. Or write it down. Yeah. Yeah, they I mean, I guess we've got lots of steamy romance novels. Like, it's not that we don't talk about those things, it's that our religion doesn't talk about those things, right? Like, there's not some raunchy sex scene between Jesus and Mary Magdalene in the New Testament. Oh, I wish there was, right? Like, something really explicit and queer. uh, you know, a girl can dream. What is my favorite book? I mean, Secret Twin, right now, this is my favorite book. I've read like 4 different versions of this story because it's just, I don't know, it's really gotten into me. No, he absolutely had no life between the ages of 12 and 34. No, he never had sex with anyone. That would be too debasing. So, now we will say Arati. The word Arati means flame. Flame in Sanskrit. Well, really what it is that Paul never had sex with anyone. And I can believe that because of, like, the way that Paul was. You know, Paul's the actual person who invented Christianity, and he was very messianic. He had some purity hang-ups, for sure. I mean, brilliant man. Absolutely brilliant man. But, yeah, I don't think that I think many of the things that Paul says about Jesus are more about Paul than about Jesus. That's my guess. Where do I buy it? I think I just got this on eBay. Like, there's a lot of different versions, right? Like, there's this copy. My favorite translation is this one. Translation by Diana Wolkstein. Because she's a poet, like she's an English storyteller, whereas this person is like more of an academic translator. So the translation in this book is less true to the original, but it is more vivid. It's more kinky. I like kinky, so. Paul's transformation is crazy. Yeah, like I think about that. Like that happens to people from time to time. Like it happened to Muhammad too, right? Like you can be just a full adult and then have revelation. Like revelation happens. Like it is indeed part of human psychology, and I mean such a profound change. And not only, I mean, because like people go crazy all the time, right? Like we see that in our society. That's typically how we label it, right? Like they have some sort of breakdown. But to then have that kind of breakdown and then be able to translate that experience into content, right? Into liturgical language, sacred language that motivates an entire global movement. I mean, Paul must have been a really incredible man. Like, in many ways, more notable, in my mind, than Jesus, because Paul was the one who mastered the memes. Jesus just, he had an influence in Jerusalem. He had some followers, but Paul was the one that turned it into a world religion. So, I don't know. That's my hot take. Paul was a good mimeticist. Neither here nor there. So, Arati means flame. John was pretty good at the marketing too, and Peter, right? I mean, those apostles, they're famous for a reason. Jaya Jayarti Vina Vinayakam Vina Vinayaka Shri Ganesha Jaya Jayarti Subramanya Subramanya Kartikeya Jaya Jaya Arati Venugopala Venugopala Venuola Papa Vidura Navanita Chora Jaya Jaya Arati Venkanta Ramana Venkanta Ramana Sankata Harana Sita Rama Radhe Shama Jaya Jaya Arati Gauri Manohara Gauri Manohara Bhavani Sankara Sambasada Shiva Uma Maheshwara Jaya Jaya Arati Raja Rajeshwari Raja Rajeshwari Tripura Sundari Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati Mahakali Mahashakti Jaya Jaya Arati Anjaneya Anjaneya Hanumanta Jaya Jaya Arati Dattatreya Dattatreya Trimurti Avatara Jaya Jaya Arati Adityaya Adityaya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jaya Arati Sanistaraya Sanistaraya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jaya Arati Sankarachaya Sankarachaya Advaita Gravi Jaya Jaya Arati Sadgurunata Sadgurunata Shivananda Jaya Jaya Arati Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Jaya Jaya Arati Agastya Munaye Agastya Munaye Shriyama Priyaye Jaya Jaya Arati Ayapa Samine Ayapa Samine Dharma Shastave Jaya Jaya Arati Jesus Grave Moses Grave Buddha Grave Jaya Jaya Arati Muhammad Grave Guru Nanak Grave Samastya Grubho Namaha Jaya Jaya Arati Venugopala Natatrasayobati Natanjakaratam Nimavadyobati Kotoy Magni Tomeva Bantamanamandi Sarvam Tashabasya Samitam Vivanti Om Gange Kayamane Kaiva Govari Saraswati Namade Siddhikafari Hiya Namastitam Namo Namaha. Good morning, friends. Good morning, Katie. Good morning, Dr. Funk. It's so nice to see you. It's been over a week, maybe 2 weeks. How have you been? And Secret Twin, I am not Christian. I was raised Jewish, but I view it as my religious responsibility to understand the beliefs that are entrenched in my society. So I know a decent amount about Christianity. I think. I hope. Sarah, what are you studying at the Baptist Church? Living in the South, you have no experience with Baptists, so you've been attending in study. What denomination did you grow up going to? And how was Baptist, how are Baptist communities different from what you grew up with? Gosh, I love you all so much. No denomination or religion for me. So you started working with the church late in life. That's so interesting. Huh. What kind of what were your parents like? Religiously, I mean. Twameva mata chapita twameva Twameva bandusha saka twameva Twameva vidya dravinam twameva Twameva sarvam mama deva Deva Kayena vacha manasandayarva Buddhyatmanava prakriti sabhavad Karomi adyat sakalam parasmahe Narayanaiti sarmar payami Sarvadharmam pravichaya mamakam sarvadam vraja Sva sarvapapayo mokshayami masucha. Whatever actions I perform with my body, speech, mind, senses, my nature, my intellect, or my emotions, all these, I dedicate to you, to my friends. Thank you for being here with me and saying these words with me. Your parents never talked about God. Just straight up just told me heal isn't a thing and don't worry about it. Well, I'm glad to hear that there's dancing in your Baptist church. Hi, Moose Marissa. I haven't seen you in a bit either. I'm doing reasonably well. Hell isn't a thing, don't worry about it. I mean, hell is other people, right? That's what Sartre says. um, Dr. Punk, what Christian denomination did you grow up going to, and why did you stop? Um, Gosh, Sarah, that's so interesting. Like, what drew you to spend so much time in a Baptist church if it wasn't in your upbringing? Like, I don't know. I guess I operate on assumption that like certain kinds of religiosity are imprints, and if you're not imprinted, then, um, I don't know. But like we were talking about Paul a moment ago, right? And he was imprinted with Pharisee theology, but was converted. You grew up Mormon and Baptist. Now that's surprising, because I thought the Mormons were a fairly exclusive bunch. Um, One parent was Mormon and the other was Baptist? Really? No, they can't be. You grew up very religious in the Baptist church. Would you still say you're very religious, twin? So, in light of all that, correct. Wow, an interdenominational marriage. I mean, your Mormon parent must have not felt. Oh, divorced. One of your parents became Mormon after you were born. Interesting. So interesting. Huh. Gosh, I love how much diversity is here. I think that's just so incredible. Um, all of these different ways of experiencing God and experiencing people around their experiences of God. We're crazy, we're all crazy. Current situation, this little church is close and they needed artistic help, so you've been attending. Oh, that's really kind of you. The church in Footloose was your Baptist church in Utah? Really? Huh. Wow. You're not still. Christmas, though. Well, yeah, I mean, today's Christmas. Did you know that today's Christmas for, people in Central Europe? The Orthodoxy. Also for many Christians in the Arab world, right? Syrian Christians, Palestinian Christians, Lebanese Christians, Greek Christians. Today is Christmas Day. God was born today. What religion do I believe in? None of them. I have no beliefs. I'm a scientist. No, that's a lie. But I do try not to believe things. I try to experience them, but not necessarily believe them. I think belief is dangerous. So we'll say Kaddish now. Kaddish is a prayer of grief, a prayer of mourning, a prayer of death. Yes, twin. Word Kaddish means holy in Hebrew. I don't really know what holy means in English. Sacred, perhaps. Yeah, I don't believe anything either. I mean, obviously I have many beliefs, right? Like, can't be human without having beliefs, but I try to avoid them if I can. Why do I do the prayers if I don't believe? Because practice is important, because repetition builds meaning. It's the Epiphany, huge Italian holiday for you. Right, 12 days after Christmas. You can argue about whether Jesus was born now or 2 weeks ago. It doesn't really matter, though. It's still sacred time. Yeah, prayer is meditation. I think meaning comes out of repetition, right? So I say these same words every day, because the more I say them, the richer they get for me, right? Like, the meaning of this prayer isn't just what the words say, it's what they have come to mean over millions, billions of repetitions from people long gone. And every time I say them with you, they come to mean something different, right? Grief time, right? I didn't start calling it grief time. That's a thing that Dr. Punk did, but like I think about it that way. Yeah, it's grief time. Like we take a moment to remind ourselves that grief is in our lives, and we do that collectively to remind ourselves that grief isn't something that we need to process alone. Yeah. So we'll say Kaddish, and say Kaddish in gratitude for all of you. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabba. Bialma divrach yirte v'yamlich malchute. v'chayachonu v'yomechonu v'chayedi kol beit Israel b'gala u'b'zman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehi shemei rabam v'arach li'alam olmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'ishtabach v'itba'ar v'itramam v'itnaseh v'itadar v'talei v'talal shemei de Kadish ha'barechu leila min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata Jamiran bioma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabam min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom v'imramav huya aseh shalom aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom v'imramav huya aseh shalom aleinu v'yalachol Yisrael v'imru v'imru. Amen. Thanks, friends. I did miss you, Mr. Jacob Toe. I like your sense of humor. Bird baka. I don't have time to answer that question. It's a very good question. But I've made a film about it. It's in my archive, so you can go check out my bio and scroll down and look for a video from about 1.5 years ago called The Tree of Life. And the thumbnail will look just like this. Here's the Tree of Life, right? And that video is my best, most articulate statement I can give you about how I believe that life and death are connected, and what happens to my meanness when I die. Yeah, well, they have good stories, right, Twin? Stories are important. And the stories from the polytheisms are a little bit more vivid than the stories we get from the Abrahamic faiths. So, thanks for hanging out with me, friends. I really appreciate every single one of you. Especially the trolls. You keep my life interesting. So, Greek tales are tales with illustrations, yes. So I've got to go, and I won't be streaming this weekend, but I will be back on Monday to say these words with you one more time. So, I hope you have a lovely day. I'm so glad I caught you too. And, yeah, have a great weekend, everyone. I'll see you soon. Farewell. I'm glad I caught you too, Dr. Punk. I've been missing you. Farewell.